about the MIG welding. So what is the MIG welding? In a MIG welding, so this is the MIG welding. So here we basically use the consumable wire electrode. So during welding, actually the this electrode material become consumed, all right, and this is further covered again just like a TIG welding. Just like a TIG welding, here we also use the inert gas. So it basically, the function of the inert gas, it basically it basically act as a sealing gas. Simultaneously it basically compress the arc so that heat affected zone will be very minimum, all right. So and they can if I talk about the electron beam welding, so what is the electron beam welding? Here we basically the charge the beam of electron in that particular area where the joining is performed. So when the beam of electron is basically strike on that particular area, then the heat will be generated. What heat? The kinetic heat will be generated, and because of that kinetic heat, the area should be plastically deformed, and after that the joining is performed. Now we talk about the Thermit welding, all right. So Thermit welding, so what is the Thermit welding? We can say it is a portable welding process. So here we basically use in the railway track to join the railway track. So here the primary ingredient is that aluminium and like powdered aluminium. We basically use powdered aluminium, and we basically use iron oxide by the powdered aluminium and the iron oxide, and we mix each other, and after that the ignition, we ignite this by the help of the barium peroxide, all right. By the help of the barium peroxide, the ignition will be happen. So one ignition will be happen, then the aluminium is released. By the help of the aluminium is released just like aluminium oxide, and we get the liquid iron, okay. And by this liquid iron the joining is performed. So this is the thermit welding. Then the submerged arc welding process. So the submerged arc welding, it is a very important welding process, because in this welding process, what actually the metal penetration rate, or we can say the metal deposition rate, the metal, so this is the metal penetration rate, okay, or the metal deposition rate is very high. So this is the main advantage. The metal deposition rate or metal penetration rate is very high. So here we basically use the consumable the wire electrode. So we basically use the consumable wire electrode, okay. So this is now here we simultaneously apply the granular flux over here, okay, in this particular area, the conjunction, we basically apply the granular flux, and the what arc will be generated, that arc is generated, it is in between the granular flux and the base metal, so that it is very easy to view the welded area, all right. So high quality welding is performed as the metal deposition rate or the penetration rate of the metal. The technical term is basically the metal penetration rate or the metal deposition rate is very high. Second thing is that the strength, very high quality welding is performed, very high quality welding is performed. So if I talk about the use, where we see that the gas cylinder, to welding of the gas cylinder, we basically perform the submerged arc welding process, all right. In a domestic gas cylinder, we basically perform the submerged arc welding process. So our domestic gas cylinder actually welded by the help of the submerged arc welding process, all right. So another question, why domestic gas cylinder we weld in a particular circumference, not like not like just like, why not vertical, why only the cylindrical? So this is another question. So in a gas cylinder, what actually happened, the gas cylinder inside have a gas, and gas are basically apply the pressure on that particular the wall, on the wall of the cylinder wall, all right. So there is a two type of stress is developed inside the gas cylinder. One is basically the longitudinal stress, and second thing is the circumferential stress, that is basically also called as a hoop stress. So inside the gas cylinder, this stress, hoop stress, is more, and the hoop stress is greater than, and the less we have a longitudinal stress. So if welding is performed in the like vertical welding, then it basically offers us the longitudinal stress more, and the less amount the circumference stress or the hoop stress. But this is the primary stress. So for that particular reason, we basically go for the circumferential welding, so that which give us the more hoop stress. So this is basically the main reason. And another advantage of this submerged arc welding process, that this welding can perform in an open atmosphere and a closed atmosphere. And we also like we engage like the semi skilled worker or the less skilled worker, we basically engaged. So this is the advantage.